I was at Jim album release party and everybody was over there with Jim and Cam is standing over here with like 3 or 4 people just looking on and couldn't believe that Jim is the guy. There's no Dipset without Jim. Jim is the gangbanger of the crew. Cam is not a blood. I don't even know if Juelz was. I doubt Freaky was, right? But the set, it comes from the gang shit, right? All the gang niggas all ran under Jim.
Right.
All of the muscle was Jim. That wasn't Cam. You know what I'm saying?
Cam was like the Jay-Z.
Cam was the artist.
The Jay-Z, the mascot of it, if this is Rockefeller.
Right.
And then Jim was Kareem? Biggs?
No, because Jim did more than what Biggs did. I wouldn't use the Rockefeller scenario. That's not a good thing. Jim and Cam were partners, so to speak, but Jim took the role of being the underboss, the muscle, to make sure that Cam could function and move around and not have a bad reputation or be getting robbed and all this other stuff. So Jim put he stood front line for anything in regards to Cam, and then he put Dipset in front of Cam. You know what I'm saying? So the wedge that became between Cam and Jim is Jim's success. When Jim started becoming successful as an artist, the animosity started building up in Cam.
It wasn't supposed to go like that according to Cam's story.
No. Cam always looked at him as being the star, Jim being capo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's kind of like Sammy the Bull becoming John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Gotti's probably gonna feel a little way if Sammy becomes the main man. You know what I'm saying? And in that situation, that's what it is. Jim started to grow as an artist. And as he started to grow as an artist, he started moving from standing behind Cam to he started standing next to Cam. And then it got to a point where he stood in front of Cam. And Cam was looking over his shoulder like, yo, nigga, what you doing? And shit. And then that built the animosity. And by the time Ballin' hit, Cam had a gang of animosity and internal hatred. And I know because I seen it, I was there. I was at Jim album release party and everybody was over there with Jim and Cam is standing over here with like 3 or 4 people just looking on and couldn't believe that Jim is the guy. And that always stood with me. Me and Cam almost had a fight because I was listening to Jim's mixtape one time, the one with the Certified Gangster on it. And me and Hell Rel, and I'm like, yo, this nigga Jim is hot. And Cam said something like getting mad because I was giving Jim props. And me and him started getting into it, going back and forth and stuff. And then his man had to jump in and defend him because fucking Cam, he can't beat me. You know what I'm saying? So Cam man jumped in and Cam thought I was gonna be scared of him because me and his man, me and his man knew each other from places, you know what I'm saying? But his man knew how I got down, I knew how his man got down, you know what I'm saying? So if it was gonna go and be something, it was gonna be right there, or it wasn't gonna be nothing right there. And, nothing happened, you know what I'm saying? But it was all because Cam got mad at me for bigging up Jim. You know what I'm saying? Me and Hell Rel in the trailer, bigging up Jim and shit. And Cam just got mad out of nowhere. And then me and his man getting ready to get into it, because this nigga mad, because I'm bigging Jim. Jim, yeah, man, nigga. Fuck you mad at? And shit. That was on the set of Killer Season. And shit. Then they went and did the shooting scene after that or whatever. And then then I started feeling a little way about Cam. I felt like he was a fucking hater because I felt like he was supposed to be happy for Jim.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was happy for Juelz, but he wasn't happy for Jim
But
like he was for Juelz.
Juelz didn't even really. Ooh, I don't
No,
know.
Juelz was on fire,
Did
nigga.
he hit Jim Jones impact level?
Oh, Juelz?
Juelz always felt a little bit like he
Nah,
had a
Juelz
moment.
was fucking on fire for a minute. Like, Juelz is what made Cam hot.
He was on fire on the street level.
Nigga, you bugging.
Jim
You're just a
Jones.
little younger, brother.
No, Jim Summer in Miami with Trey.
Yeah, what about
Juelz
it?
don't got nothing like that.
Santana's town?
Talking about how's that joint go?
Dipset, 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 Juelz.
I don't know,
Juelz,
man.
dip. Santana said. What we rip, nigga text.
I
What they
gotta
do
maybe
with,
brush
you know,
myself up.
Dipset. What? You know how big that was?
But as far as cultural, to me, okay, let me say this. Juelz artist, maybe music for music with Jim Jones, but I think Jim Jones, his impact, his aura is over Juelz Santana. Because the persona.
I'm not going to even compare them niggas. I'm not going to
I
even
don't
get
want to
into
do that, but
I'm not going to compare Jim
I'm
to
just saying
Juelz. I'm telling you, Juelz and Jim is parallel,
okay.
and they hits and impact and Dipset. Even Dipset anthem. That's Juelz, nigga.
All right, I could be wrong, but I'm talking about in terms of brand for brand. But the reason why I brought it up,
Welcome to New York is Juelz,
okay,
bro.
I said music for music. Juelz probably got it, but I'm saying like brand for brand. I'm not here to compare them. I brought that up because I was wondering from my lens,
Right.
was Cameron showing love to Juelz because he didn't necessarily reach a certain height yet? He probably still felt
No,
that he was
because Juelz
above.
is being his son.
He was still felt
No,
above
because
Juelz.
Juelz is being Cam's son.
Okay.
Not in a disrespectful way, but he was under the wing. Jim was the muscle. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And Juelz is under that wing too of the muscle. You get what I mean? So with Jim, he's Cam's partner.
Copy.
But he's taking a step back to play the muscle.
Right.
Juelz was a worker.
Right.
A hiree, a little man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between Juelz and Jim. You know what I'm saying? If it was beef, Juelz ain't gonna be front line. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get through Jim, then Dipset to get to Cam, and then probably to get to Juelz.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Juelz ain't standing in front of Jim, and Juelz ain't standing in front of Cam.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this teaser. You can watch the full interview right now at hypersclub.com, along with more behind the scenes and additional content.